Welcome, foolish mortals. Hey everybody, it's Nicole and Nikki Bricks here, and today we are going to be taking a look at the mini Disney The Haunted Mansion set. So I am a huge Disneyland geek. I love going to Disney. It's like my favorite place to go ever. The Haunted Mansion is one of my favorite rides at the park, especially at Christmas time and during Halloween when they turn it into the Nightmare Before Christmas. I do really love the box art for this set. I think that the ride and like the graveyard look that we have going on here is super cool. I'm just a fan of like this whole idea we have going on here, so I can't think when it's this hot in here. So without further ado, we are just gonna jump straight into this review and we're gonna take a look at that minifigure. So our minifigure for this set is a wonderful little Haunted Mansion tour guide, which I do really love. They could have gone a lot of different directions. I mean, just choosing like a random ghost or one of the other 999 residents of the Haunted Mansion, but I do just really love the inclusion of the Disneyland Park guide for this ride. And of course, he does just come with some normal blue pants, his very nicely printed waistcoat, which you do get a little cape for to extend at the bottom there. And the uniform does actually look very accurate. He does have that sort of pinstriped vest underneath, the two shaded tie on the top, and his face is looking pretty ghostly if you ask me. This poor guy has probably had a lot of restless nights with all that random and scary thumping and whispering going on in that house. His receding hairline there is another indication of his stress and lack of sleep, and while I do think he could have been a little bit more pale, he's a really, really cool minifigure. And again, I would hope that if we do continue this line of Disneyland parks that I could have a little collection of like Disneyland worker minifigures lined up with them. So the Haunted Mansion itself is also really cool because it actually looks very accurate to the ride in Disneyland. I mean, just a general overview, you do have like the columns in the front or the pillars, and you have all these archways. The colors of this mansion are seriously spot on, which is also really cool. The only thing that was like a serious pain in the butt while building this set was the fact that you had to build all of these window pieces sideways and then kind of clip them on into the set. And it was just seriously time consuming and not my favorite building technique ever. I mean, this is kind of washed out. There, you can kind of see more of how it was built, but yeah, this was not a building technique that I particularly enjoyed. Nevertheless, one of my favorite rides, so has to be one of my favorite little builds that I've done for LEGO. Another cool thing is that at the top here, you do have this sort of tower where when you first walk into the ride, you get led into the room that extends with the paintings, and it's super spooky, and when you're a kid, pretty daunting. It's a little bit of a traumatizing experience, but nonetheless pretty fun. Take your kids there, scare them a little bit. It's worth it. So at the tower here, this is where when you first kind of walk into the experience, you find the guy who, like, offed himself. Pretty unsettling, but it's nice to see that that was included there as well. And around the back over here, you can actually see inside the ride, which is really cool and probably my favorite part of this little series that we're doing here. So if you look inside here, this like black fence is where the roller coaster or little pod that you're in kind of goes by. And you can see inside of this nice dining room or ballroom where these white statues that are supposed to represent the ghosts are sort of dancing around this nice table and they're floating in the air. There's music playing. The residents of the Haunted Mansion are all having a really fun time. And it's just a really, really cool effect that they have in this ride, and one that kind of blew my mind the first time I saw it. I still don't really understand how it works. Some sort of mirror smoke reflection technology, I'm assuming. And if you look further inside, you can see that there are those purple and green printed pieces that are just supposed to be a couple more of the ghost residents floating around. You can see that there's some up at the top there also partying, but there is also a chandelier up there that I really liked because I don't think I've ever had that piece before. Some more floating lanterns. What I'm assuming is just like a little bit of cake on the table there because we are enjoying our ball and our feast. And it's a pretty cool little scene that they let you look into there. That is really kind of all there is to talk about with this set. Again, if we do this line of like micro-scale Disney Castle and the micro-scale rides, I would love to see a Matterhorn as the next one, because the Haunted Mansion certainly could have waited till like October to come out, and I'm kind of surprised that it didn't. So I would just love to see more. Maybe a Matterhorn. Small World would be another good one, maybe starting off with the classic sets like we did here. And now the only thing that I could really see making this better is if they had built a little graveyard, extended this a little bit, maybe the little singing busts that you can see in the movie, which I really love. That used to crack me up as a kid. But yeah, having a little bit more of a graveyard, maybe a spooky tree would have really made this, I don't know, complete, kind of sealed the deal for like what it is. Because if you didn't have the minifigure there, you might not really know that it's supposed to be this sort of spooky looking house. So, I don't know. Tell me what you think. Let me know if there are any other Disneyland rides that you would love to see transformed into little micro-scale Lego sets. I'm really excited at the prospect because I would love to have this guy and a bunch of others over in my Disney corner over there. Just kind of have them lined up next to the castle. But anyway, that is it for this review, you guys. If you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe down below to see some of my future content. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you next time.